Science students, in this video we're going to discuss how to minimize impact force of collisions. We've got Newton's second law here that says force equals mass times acceleration. The principle behind this is that with collisions, to reduce impact force, we want to increase time. So by that I mean increase the time of the collision. Now the reason we want to do that is, let's say that, well, we know that acceleration is equal to change in velocity over time. Now because time is on the bottom of this fraction, it is the denominator, if we were to increase that number, that would lead to a decrease overall of acceleration, because when you increase the bottom number of a fraction, that number decreases overall. Now force is equal to mass times acceleration. So if you decrease acceleration, well, that will in turn decrease force, because force is proportional to acceleration. Now, how do we increase the time of a collision? Well, there's lots of different ways. The context that we've looked at here is in sports, or in the sport of cricket. We can see this wicketkeeper here. This is the legendary Adam Gilchrist, former Australian Test keeper, and he's wearing a pair of gloves. Now, gloves can provide a cushioning of the impact. So what occurs when the ball hits the gloves, they provide extra padding, and it takes time for the ball to compress that padding, longer than if the gloves weren't there. So that will increase the time of a collision. Here's a person catching a ball without gloves. Now you can see here that as the ball enters their hands, they move their hands backwards slightly with the ball to take the impact of the ball. So they have what we would call soft hands. If they would just hold their hands rigidly there, then the time of the collision would be longer. What they're doing is they're increasing the time of this ball colliding with their hands. Only marginally, just a slight increase, but makes a big difference to the force involved. Now it's not just in sports, but in fact in more important aspects of life. Believe it or not, there are more important things in life than sports. But say road safety. Now one thing that we utilize in road safety is airbags. So when we're in a collision, modern cars will have an airbag that is deployed, and it provides this cushion when a person is thrust forward towards their steering wheel. That also increases the time of the collision. If they were to collide just purely with their steering wheel, the collision time would be shorter. They would smack into this hard object and have a very fast collision time, or a quick collision time. Once again, it's only a marginal increase, but the airbag causes the collision time to be longer, and thus reduces the force of the impact. A couple more examples. Trampoline. Now this person here is landing flat on their back, but it's on a trampoline. If you were to do that on the floor, like a hard cement floor, that would really hurt, because you'd feel a great deal of force through your back. That would be a short collision time. The trampoline stretches when the person's back hits it, and it causes a longer collision time to occur, thus reduces the force. Trampolines don't always work that well, especially if they're covered in ice. And if we were to land on a trampoline that isn't able to flex the way it normally does, then we have that short collision time and we'd feel quite a bit of force through our legs like this. So that's the principle behind reducing force of impact in a collision. We want to increase the time of the collision, which will reduce the magnitude of the deceleration. This in turn reduces the force of impact. Now, thanks for watching. I've recommended a few questions for you to try. Go and have a go at those. They're in the description for the video.